Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So if you do not recognize this spreadsheet over here, I do not blame you because I deleted the video that I uploaded earlier on. And the reason is because I did my calculation completely incorrectly. Well, at least I made one very fatal flaw which affected the final result. So let's talk a little bit about how you can build your perfect Thor relic and your perfect war machine, and which is better towards the end game, because I received so many of these questions, right? And what I've been doing is just pushing the narrative that Thor is better than war machine, but I've not actually done the mathematics for myself, let alone for you, and here is where I change all of it. So right now, I have done the mathematics for all of you, and we're going to take a look at how when you reach the end game, right, the end game, and you have perfect war machine and perfect Thor relics, which means I'm talking about flawless and I'm talking about perfect substats, then this is exactly how you can achieve the biggest final damage. So that's the thing that we are considering over here, which does the most final damage. So let's say you have a base attack of 1200 and your relics give you an additional 2710 based on the stat allocation that I'm doing over here. Then your total attack would be as such. And same for your crit damage as well. Your total crit damage goes up to 305%. This is in addition, right? So your final damage would then be calculated as this number times 1 plus this number. So essentially 3910 attack times 405%, which would then give you 15,836. This is your final damage. Similarly, on the right, this is exactly how I calculated this final damage here, and this is how I calculated my attack for the War Machine relic set, which is I include the 30% stat gain on the relic bonus itself. And what you notice is that based on this substat allocation of my relics, I would actually achieve more final damage than War Machine. But I'll get into the detail in just a bit. Another thing that I need to mention at the start is that we are talking about 70% crit rate because all of your DPS aspers need to have 70% crit rate. So for example, if you take a look at all of the substats here, what you notice is that we only have at most 4 upgrade points. So these are just upgrade points, right? If I have 4 here, that means that my crit damage is increased by 4 levels. And if I have any number here, then my attack percentage actually increased by like 1 level, which is 4% basically. But what you notice is that there are only 4 upgrade points. But the thing is, if you're talking about flawless relics, we have 5 upgrade points. So what happened to the last one? That actually went into your crit rate. So you have 5 plus 5% of your crit rate on each of your relics. Obviously, you don't have to spread your stats in this particular fashion. You can have like 4-0 here and 2-2 here, for example, right? But in general, on average, all of your relics should have at least 10% crit rate for you to achieve 70% total crit rate. So that's why there is only 4 upgrade points. So the way I did it without using a stupid algorithm, because I just cannot stand creating algorithms for something like this, I'd rather show it to prove it. So for example, if I were to increase my crit damage a little bit further, take a look at what happens to the final damage, right? If I increase it to 4, then my attack percentage goes down to 0, and my final damage actually decreases by a little bit, right? It decreases by 2 final damage. Conversely, if I decrease my crit damage and increase my attack, what happens is I lose 4 final damage, which means that this is the perfect balance over here. And you can just refer to the bottom for the total number of crit damage rolls and the total number of attack rolls. And you can do the math yourself to prove to yourself that if you change this to 19 and 5, it actually becomes not as efficient, right? You can just do it yourself. Another very important thing to note is that all of my attack percentages here are not at base 4% because I am giving them an additional 9% from your legendary relic boost stone effect, and therefore we have to consider that all of your base attack starts off at least 13% here, just for completion's sake. Now, another thing that is mind-boggling to me is that if you're using the War Machine set, you really do not want any rolls into your attack percentages at all. I mean, it should kind of make sense because attack percentages rise by 4% each level, whereas for crit damage it rises by 5. But obviously it's not as simple as that, so we definitely need to do the calculation to prove it, right? And what I do note is that if you cap out all your crit damage, you're actually going to deal the biggest damage that you could possibly do. So if I reduce my crit damage by 1 and increase my attack percentage by 1, my final damage actually decreases by about 21, right? Yeah, 21 over there. That's insane, dude. So what I can summarize from here is that your rolls should generally go towards crit damage for both of the sets. But for War Machine, obviously it's a little bit more extreme, the more the merrier. But for Thor, you want to have a distribution of this ratio, for example. So yeah, there you go. This is exactly how you calculate the difference between Thor and War Machine. And from here, unless I'm wrong, it shows that Thor is superior to War Machine towards the end game. So I hope this concludes the whole chapter on people asking me which is better, Thor or War Machine, or that people telling me that War Machine is actually better because blah blah blah. Cringe. So I hope this video was informative for you. If it was, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, it really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.